Were your ears burning earlier? We were talking about this story with the panel, and I am so excited that you, our audience, are going to get to hear this amazing story about Al-Futtaim's true digital transformation. So let's start at the beginning. And Heyman, I want to ask you this question. Where did you start? What was the challenge that you were addressing when you really knew you needed to transform and really start this journey and begin this process of everything from modernization, transformation, all of these great things? What were the key challenges that you were looking to address?
So yeah, traditionally also you need to understand the kind of the cultural setup of the place, where we have and where the
Yes.
organization is primarily running, which is Dubai, UAE, United Arab Emirates. You may see a great amount of malls there because half of the year is very hot, and the only
Yeah.
option people have over there is to go to the malls, and
And
it
ski.
was more of, yeah, it's key, and it's more about brick and mortar shopping. But as the population started to grow and diversify, and distances increased, people wanted, was seeing buying online or looking at digital options, because
Right.
as the new generation started coming up, our organization also felt that we are a pure brick and mortar business, but now we need to slowly, if we want to keep up to the pace, we need to slowly change ourselves, take the e-commerce journey, take the digital journey, go back, now go to the consumer, just not bring the consumer to us, but we also go back to our consumers and then see how we can expand our business and our consumer reach. So that's where we started our journey with.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
amazing.
uh, yeah, the first need that where we need to take this step of moving, digitizing solutions, looking at tools which can support us, looking at teams which can support us. So that's where we started off with, first having a proper web presence of all the different verticals which we are in: real estate, automotive, retail, servicing, because nobody knew what Al-Futtaim was. If somebody is not known to the region and saying Al-Futtaim, oh, what is it? Yeah, you have so many companies, so what do you do? So that's where we started the journey with.
Hmm.
And we wanted to first look at a tool which could support the variety of different businesses we have with still a common framework, support back our business to manage all the brochureware content on by themselves, not be IT dependent, and move ahead with it. So that's where
Hmm.
we started off with our digital journey, that this is what we would like to do. How do we get a strong digital experience tool which can help our business, do this pure brochure marketing, bring more knowledge to our customer base, bring them more close where they can learn about the products we sell, the services we sell, which are actually coming to our store and visiting us.
Yeah.
And then, the journey started where people went on the e-commerce journey where they wanted to buy online, book online, reserve online. And while we were going through that and thinking, I think so it was kind of something, sometimes when you have kind of these big pandemics, yes, it has a negative effect, but it also has a positive effect. And I think so
Yeah.
that literally put a lot of fuel into our drive. COVID hit us 2 years back, and suddenly everybody realized, no, brick and mortar is not the only way of doing business. We need to go
Yeah.
digital. And that's
Yeah.
where,
That's
the
amazing.
transformation journey took the highest speed. And then we had to rush around and look at solutions which were cheap, solutions which were robust, solutions which were giving us flexibility, and solution which could be cloud native, support us in our journey of being cloud native, because you can start small, grow without any worry about, oh, I need to buy this infrastructure. It can have that much months or weeks of lead time. No, it helps us. So that's where
Yeah.
we started our journey. And while we did have a good tool with our hand in HCL DX, and we had taken some traditional approaches, We were continuously talking to the HCL team and saying that, if we want to take this journey and transform ourselves to be more agile, talk about MVPs, quick product releases, how we can do that. And that's where we started our journey.
That's
And
terrific.
today, yeah, today we have that implementation in both the traditional approach as well as the new modern cloud headless approach, which my colleague, Arijit
Excellent.
can talk more.
I love that because what Heyman just described is flexibility,
Right.
but made real, right? I think we talk about flexibility, but it's kind of hard for people to realize that. But when you're talking about, you're talking about an organization with 33,000 employees, 20 countries. That's not just a challenge. That's chaos, right? That is very, very different.
Right.
Multiple lines of business. But what Heyman just described was the ability to satisfy the needs of the business that needed that traditional approach,
Right.
but then also be able to move forward with the
Absolutely.
flexibility of that approach. Share a little bit more about that with us.
Yeah. So uh, we started off with DX, and we are really grateful that the DX actually served very important, crucial roles achieving the business goals in this aspect. So, what we did, we used virtual portals for different businesses.
Right.
That helps us, to ring fence the different businesses onto their own working spaces, and then we used the portal access control, the PAC, and which is very effective in terms of controlling the people's accesses from the most granular level to the most wider, widely applied level. So that was that was a perfect match for our use case, right?
Right.
And that is traditional, still traditional, right? We had entire different requirements from the businesses going forward, and then some businesses wanted entirely component dependent websites, fully driven by business, no IT talk, nothing. So they don't want to talk to the IT for regular releases,
They
right?
wanted to talk to you, they just didn't want to have to keep coming back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, so that's where we had to go back to our drawing boards and
Yeah.
re-architect our solutions. But DX was a big part of it, which helped us to enable that and integrate the design language systems
Right.
to
Right.
right into the heart of DX components with the WC and the VCOM components that we are talking about. So as soon as we did that, and we published that product for the businesses, and businesses were delighted to
Right.
get the thing that they envisioned that they could achieve,
Yeah.
the power in their hand, right? They could mold the website in and out, day in and day out, any time of the day, and they had the entire control of the website. And not only one, that same website got replicated in 5 different scenarios.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, and even if you ask me, I won't be able to recognize the website we built because they changed it. They changed the entire thing on the fly, right? So that is the power that
Yeah.
we were able to give to the business without compromising any of the, the security
The things that can't
concerns.
break, right.
Yes, exactly. So they can do, but they cannot break.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that is.
I love that distinction.
Yeah.
I love that distinction
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you know what? People want to be great at their jobs.
Yeah.
Right? And you've given them that power to do that. And
Exactly.
you've untethered that from like the land of no. Right? Which is always what
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to do, right? So I
Absolutely.
love that. So, I think that with the complexity of your business and with the complexity of all the different you said something so interesting to me, that all the different businesses wanted something, right?
Yes.
So when you rolled these out, now they're all of a sudden they're creating on their own, they're
Yeah.
doing on their own.
Yeah.
Did they start asking for new stuff?
Yes. However, the framework, the DX framework, and that on top of that, what we integrate, the design language system that we have integrated with that, it is flexible enough to welcome new components.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's okay. The business, so that caveat we have always put in front of the business that
Yeah.
yes, you will be having a library of components. you want to do something more, we can definitely introduce new components and make it like the library getting richer and richer. And even better, they don't have to publish it for each and every website every time.
Right.
As soon as they do it for
It's
once.
centralized.
Yes.
Oh, see,
So
that's the
it's-
beauty of it.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
amazing.
And,
That's amazing.
and that also, we are talking about the traditional ones, right? And
Yeah.
this is one business we're talking about.
Right.
There were different businesses, and automotive is the biggest one in Al-Futtaim. And we have started the automotive journey very recently
Okay.
on DX.
I want to get into this automotive
Yeah,
conversation
sure,
with
sure.
you, right? And Heyman, I want you to chime in here as well, because I think there's so many interesting things about this. I've bought a car,
Yes.
a couple in my lifetime, right? And what I'm used to doing is you go to the lot, you go to where the cars are and you get in it and you touch it and you see it, and maybe you do some research online, but it's like a brochure that's online, right? That you look through. The pandemic hits.
Right.
You're not allowed out of your house. So you're not allowed to go buy that car, but you still need to buy a car. Like the need for the new car or the aspiration for a new car hasn't changed.
Absolutely.
So what did you have to do in that scenario? Because, I mean, Heyman said it wonderfully before, is that, it changed the buying behavior, it changed the need in an environment that hadn't been changed before. So what happened? Take me through that journey.
Sure.
So yeah, yeah, sure. Because two components. One thing which Arijit covered was was from a technical angle. He said that yes, we created components, and this was like build one and use multiple times. Now, there's one very interesting fact, which that the technical gurus or the technical Greeks like Arijit, don't realize what they are bringing into it is the commercial aspect of it, because the business were very
Yeah.
comfortable that now I'm getting the worth from a dollar. I'm spending a dollar, but now because by spending that, I have the total control on my side. When, as Arijit said, today the website was looking this, it had a nice Halloween theme, and 1 month down the line, they want to get the Thanksgiving theme. They would do on their own. No need to touch IT, no need to
Right.
ask for a change request, and that was saving them a lot of money. So they could do things on their own. Could make changes, give it a complete different look and feel. So that was giving them a lot of cost savings also in that area. And they used to come to IT only when they had a need of an additional component, which because the
Right. Or a
framework was
problem.
set right, or a
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
sure. But because the framework was set right, creating that new component was relatively a lot more cheaper than the original framework which we had built. So
Yeah.
that was a
That's
big
a great point.
advantage. Yeah.
That's a great
So
point.
this all actually helped us, again feel comfortable with the tool when we had to start again with a complete different approach, not a pure traditional approach, but more of an microservices, cloud native component based approach, that this is what we would like to do for our automotive. As you said, automotive business was all about touch, feel, sit, test drive, and then go. And then COVID suddenly made that change. There were companies which were trying out, but then they realized, no, now this has become a need. Because if I know the car, and if I have a nice laptop, I have a nice computer. If you can give me something, where I already get that feel, I already see what is there in the car. You give me good details, I will make it go. And today we have started the journey is where we want to eventually reach is, yes, you can buy the car, then you come to the showroom, you collect it, you be with your mask, with your gloves, feel safe, so that you're not worried about anything. But the next step would be, if you have selected the car, you have bought once, but you're going to buy this again, you're very comfortable with the brand, because these are the brands which we are selling today. Toyota, Honda, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, very well known brands. And you want the car to be delivered to your home, we can do that. And that's the
Right.
journey which we're going ahead. And this is where we are trying to see that how HCL as a tool is helping, giving that flexibility to the business, so that The content is easily managed, content is easily shared,
Yeah.
and the approach which we are giving is taking the headless approach here so that your front end is lightweight, can work on multiple devices without facing
Mm-hmm.
one.
That's terrific. But I think what I really love about what you just shared, Haiman, is that it allows you to work with the business to map what the actual experience is for the customer. So, yes, you want to learn all these things about the car. You've decided on the car. You've come into the store. You've come back to the mall. You've got your mask on. You've got your gloves on. But now you don't want to sit and fill out all the paperwork. We have to do that digitally. Now how do I make a payment digitally? How do I put the down payment digitally?
Right.
You can work with the business to identify those points of experience and need.
Right.
And because you have the composable platform, you're able to iterate on those and add those incrementally. And I love that about the story because it's not about one experience and you're done.
No.
It's about making sure that we're constantly evolving and that transformation is that continuous journey that we're always on. I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. What are some of the lessons that you learned, and what are some of the things that you both learned from this journey and from going through these experiences? Has it really been about expanding even where you thought transformation was possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are also from the beginning we were thinking about exploring the extensibility, the the capability of the platform, how we can utilize that,
Right.
what are the capabilities that are coming with the new versions. We have worked on we have moved on the AKS version of DX, and that explores, that opens up a lot of other possibilities, and that we have incorporated to to meet the demanding needs of the business, right? So you think of a set of content. It is not only a particular channel that we are talking about. We are talking about omni-channel now, right? So
Right.
yeah, so whatever content we are building, it has to serve, it has to be purposed in different channels, and it has to be scalable, right? It has to scale
Yes.
up and down, and it has to scale on demand, and that's where
On the customer's demand.
absolutely
And the user's demand.
users
That's the
demands.
new thing.
That's
I
the
love-
thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is all about customers, all oriented. All the requirements are customer oriented, right? So that is where the omni-channel idea comes in, right? So as soon as we are rolling out with one website, that builds the framework of it, and that is reusable forever,
And you
right?
can move
And
that
yeah,
on.
move that on
That's
the next
terrific.
one, because we have to use a template, and what Heyman pointed out, that is very, very valid, that how it becomes financially viable
Yeah.
over the time, and how it can become and turn a better investment,
Yeah,
a better
yeah.
return of investment over the time, right? So that's where I feel it really shines, that okay, how much flexible, how much reusable
Yeah,
the
yeah.
different components are. So because you have seen it, not only the traditional approach, but with the new approach, we have used the headless way. So it's API first now,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Everything has to be API first. So
Right.
everyone is working on the same concept, and the entire team building API first, microservices first. So all those things are playing out together. So we have the DX serving all the content as a central source. The businesses are going there and manipulating the content, and as soon as that is done, they can publish the content on the fly on the websites. We have multiple layers of caching, so in terms of scalability,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It is very robust.
You don't have
It
to
is very
worry about that.
resilient.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very resilient.
And that's a huge point. And in the panel, just before we were talking about this issue of how do you have the confidence to know that all of these innovations, all of this transformation, the agility that you have in your mind of like, this is how fast we're going to move, this is how quickly we're going to move,
Exactly.
that you can actually do it, and that your business teams and your business users are also coming with you, that it's not just the IT team running ahead. I think that is a really big point. And, Heyman, I'm going to ask you this because we're talking, that there were certainly different expectations and different opportunities that IT could bring forward, but did it also help in making this a really strategic business opportunity as well? Because I can imagine that it would have changed some of those business conversations with your business unit stakeholders. This wasn't just making a new website anymore. This was changing the way people were buying and changing the opportunity for growth and continued opportunity for the organization. That's a very strategic conversation.
So, two elements of strategy here. Yes, the one which you just mentioned, Liz, was a very important one, that the business was going to operate in a different way. They now understood that digital is just not IT. Business also has to change its ways, become digital, have a dedicated team. Typically in the retail world, we would call them merchandisers, but now in the automotive world also, these people came in who will take care of the assets. Now create those assets and make sure that the tool gives them the flexibility of using, uploading those assets, with the comfort of its click, drag, drop, and it works. The other element which came, and it was, I would say, it, it was a promise which HCL made us. I was initially worried, but we said, no, we are working with a strong organization. Let's try out. In that single AKS installation, we are running completely two different approaches. We have the traditional approach, the modular websites, which we have built for our real estate division, which is not headless. And at the same time, we are having this pure API-based headless approach.
Yeah.
All on the same platform, all in the same environment. The two businesses don't even realize. The IT team finds it very simple because in the other world, or what did HCL not support us with this framework? We would have two separate instances of HCL running for that. Means I need double the staff to maintain those environments. I need to charge the business double. That all literally has brought a lot of our expenses and cost to half because of the flexibility which the AKS version of HCL has given to us.
Right. That's excellent. So let me kind of dig into that just a little bit, because you've mentioned the word partnership. And I think this is really important because I think when we talk about these relationships and dynamics, sometimes it's, I bought this from them, right? But you keep talking about it as a partnership.
Absolutely.
So how important was that? Because this is a very complex move. You have traditional, you have headless, you have fast-moving businesses that need to keep operating. How important was a partnership and your confidence not just in the platform, but your confidence in the partnership? How important was that for you?
Yeah, it was really important because we were taking, from an IT perspective, we were taking a big risk here that we are trying out something which is relatively new, and it has not been tested or used that much, but because of our association with the tool for a long period of time, and then the people whom we were dealing with, we have a local partner in Dubai, which is GBM. And then, we had the likes of Antonio and Herbert, who were actually helping us out in this journey. And while my team was working 24/7, I would also thank a lot for all of the people who have supported from the HCL side. They were also there with us, even the sales guys from 24/7. Anytime I ping Antonio, I know that I will get a response from him, and he will help us out. So those things helped us, and then build the confidence in where we are taking this from.
It's important that someone's there to pick up the phone, Arjit, right? I mean,
absolutely.
You need someone there who is going to understand the platform. But I also get the sense that they also took the time to understand your business.
It goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
So everyone has to have a context to get it up to that level, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
where, but the good thing is they were so open-minded and they were so welcoming to us. That was something like we cherish a lot, and we have become like friends, right? So yeah, so thanks to Antonio. He has given a lot of support
Oh, that's
from
great.
the technical side. Hubbard has been really also of great help.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but however, as you said, they needed to understand the approach that you are taking, because it's a platform that can go, many different ways, right? They understood that. They understood the problems and they took it forward, and they brought the help from the HCL, the right people from the right time.
Right.
That's where we were able to actually pull it through.
Right.
Right. So the timeline was in, the absolute essence, and that was the biggest challenge, right?
So what comes next? Because of this, you guys have come a long way.
Right.
It's an impressive journey that you
Right.
guys have been on. So, I mean, congratulations to you and the team, truly. But, you don't get to stop. There's no
No,
vacation for
absolutely
you.
not. No.
What comes next? What's next? Like what's next? Let's just take the automotive business. Like what's next there? What are we doing? What am I going to see when I come to Dubai?
So, okay, you're going to see, as it's Omnichannel, you're going to see the presence of our Al-Futtaim automotive in multiple channels. So, yeah, that's what you are
You're gonna
you are
make me
going
buy
to
a
experience.
car when I go to Dubai, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Oh man.
So the first thing what we are expecting, that because we have picked up pace, and as you said, there is no stopping right now. So 12 websites are coming up in next 6 months.
Wow.
One after another, multiple countries, and it is entire package, right? It is not only like a brochure version.
Right.
It's entire end-to-end scenario. There is finance, there is insurance, there is pre-owned vehicles, there is
That's huge.
trade-ins.
Yeah.
All are
Bringing in all
servicing.
channel. That's amazing.
Yes, and then the other channel we are talking about. So that is something coming up,
Right.
which is the stores, the actual stores, and you
See,
get
now you're
to
just teasing me
interact.
with like what you can do with digital in a store, and that's not fair. That's just not. Now I have to come to Dubai. 'Cause,
Yeah.
are we talking like you're going to have digital presence in the stores? You're going to like have the
Yes.
car, and then there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so
touch screens, pads, kiosks, the whole nine yard.
absolutely.
But that's the power of headless and composability, right?
Absolutely.
Is that you guys are thinking of the business journey that your business needs to take and matching that to the customer journey that they're going to have with your content, and you've decoupled that from all the different presentation layers, and you can dream differently now. And if there's anything that you guys are doing really well, it is dreaming differently. So congratulations again. It's been a pleasure to talk to you both.